6 people slaughtered with a mattock. No witnesses, no arrests, and footprints in the snow. That led to the house, but never left. This was no ordinary crime. It was a ritual of patience, terror, and unspeakable intimacy. Someone had been watching them, living with them, waiting. Welcome to Residual Fear, where the shadows are never quite empty and the past never truly stays buried. We step into the decaying silence of 1920s rural Germany, where one family vanished into legend and the killer was never seen again. Germany, March 1922. 4 years after World War I, Bavaria remained haunted by grief, paranoia, and unspoken scars. Hidden in the woods near the town of Gruber stood a lonely farmstead known as Hinterkaifeck. It wasn't even a real town, just a name locals used to describe the isolated stretch of farmland. The farm belonged to Andreas Gruber, a strict and cruel man of 63. He lived there with his wife, Cecilia, 72. Their widowed daughter, Victoria Gabriel, 35. Victoria's children, Cecilia, 7, and Joseph, 2. And the brand new maid, Maria Baumgartner, 44, who had just arrived that very day. March 31st, 1922. Snow blanketed the ground. A heavy silence fell across the farm. The killer, or killers, made their move. One by one, the family was lured into the barn. How they were convinced remains unknown. Perhaps a noise, a voice, or something more sinister. Each victim was bludgeoned to death with a mattock, a heavy, sharpened farming tool. First Andreas Gruber, then his wife, Cecilia, followed by Victoria, and then her daughter, little Cecilia, age 7. She survived the initial blow and tore out clumps of her own hair in agony before she died. After the slaughter in the barn, the killer entered the house. Inside, 2-year-old Joseph was murdered in his crib. Maria, the maid, was bludgeoned in her bed. She had only been there a few hours. What came next was worse. The killer stayed for days. The fireplace was used. Neighbors saw smoke from the chimney. Meals were cooked. The cows were milked. The family dog was fed, all while the bodies lay undiscovered, hidden in hay and blood. It wasn't until April 4th, 4 days later, that neighbors entered the farm, after seeing Victoria's daughter missing from school. What they found was unspeakable. The bodies in the barn were stacked in the hay, partially covered. In the house, Joseph and Maria lay dead in their beds. No valuables were stolen, no signs of forced entry. The killer had taken nothing except their lives. And then, something chilling was found. The murder weapon, the bloodied mattock, had been hidden in the attic. The very place the family had heard footsteps in the weeks before. Over 100 suspects were questioned. The case made national headlines. Locals lived in fear. But the truth vanished into the fog of fear and folklore. Let's look at the leading theories, each one more unsettling than the last. Lorenz was a neighbor, a widower, a former lover of Victoria. Some said he fathered Joseph. After their relationship ended, Lorenz became hostile, especially after Andreas forbade Victoria from seeing him. When he helped discover the bodies, his behavior raised red flags. He unlocked doors that were supposedly locked. He moved the bodies, contaminating the scene. He remained disturbingly calm. Police questioned him repeatedly, But let him go. Was it grief or something darker? Another theory suggested a drifter or ex-soldier, someone traumatized by war, lost in the woods. He could have watched the family for weeks, living in the attic, descending only at night. But if it was just a madman, why stay after the murders? Why milk the cows? Unless the killer wasn't mad. He was methodical. Some locals claimed the farm was cursed. The area had a history of deaths. A few even said forest spirits haunted Hinterkaifeck, watching, waiting, punishing. The original maid's warning? She said the house was evil. Some say what happened there wasn't human, but something darker. The most twisted theory points inward. Andreas Gruber had a history. He and Victoria had once been jailed for incest, though charges didn't stick. Some believe Joseph was not Victoria's son by her late husband, but Andreas's son. That revelation, if leaked, could have caused Victoria to plan an escape. Maybe she told someone. Maybe the maid overheard, and someone decided to end it all. The house was never lived in again. In 1923, it was torn down. During demolition, workers found the mattock hidden in the attic, rusted and silent, just above where the family once slept. The case remained open for decades, but no answers ever came. Even in 2007, a college criminology class claimed to solve it using modern forensics, but the German authorities refused to release the name, out of respect for descendants. Let this settle in. Someone lived in that attic, knew the family's schedule, killed them, one by one, then lived in their home, eating their food, milking their cows, and was never seen again. The footprints led to the house, but never away. Some murders stain history with blood, others with silence. And at Hinterkaifeck, silence was louder than any scream. This has been Residual Fear. Until next time, stay in the light.